There are 21 races on the Formula One calendar, but teams also perform demonstration runs throughout the year, giving fans the chance to see incredible racing machinery and star drivers up close and personal.
I've done a few now in my time, and I think, I mean, they're all pretty unique. You know, I did one a few years ago in India. That was my first ever time to India, and I think for pretty much everyone at that run, it was the first time they saw a Formula One car, you know, especially up close. So I think in general, the cool thing about doing the demo runs, it's just to really do it for the people there, you know, and to give them a real taste.
The show car team for Red Bull, we can go anywhere. We try to go everywhere. There's nowhere we failed to get to so far. We've been all around the world: India, Peru, Mexico, Australia, all over Europe, North America, beaches in the Dominican Republic, mountain tops in the Alps, helipads in Dubai, you name it, we'll go there and try and conquer it.
One of the first demo runs of 2017 was in Houston, Texas, where Ricciardo was driving the 2011 V8-engined RB7.
It's nice to hear the V8, I guess, that roar of the car, and the RB7 was a pretty competitive race car, absolutely, and the team's built a few since then, but even though we're doing demo runs, you can still feel a little bit the car, and you kind of get the impression that, yeah, it was a good car and still is a pretty good car. So, you know, technology's come a long way, but what's nice now is since 2014 we haven't had that sound, so to go back and drive the RB7 to really hear that roar again is pretty sweet.
Last May, teammate Max Verstappen ran the 5-year-old RB8 at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. With no race currently in his home country, it was a chance to show the Dutch fans the excitement of F1.
It's definitely a lot of fun to do. It's a bit like a homecoming, I would say, and more than 100,000 people are showing up. You know, it's always something very special, and then those 2 days I'm driving over there is a lot of fun. I think it's also good to promote F1 even more.
Verstappen even set a new lap record around the Zandvoort track, an added bonus for his fans.
I was not planning to go for a lap record, but then there was less fuel in the car. I got new tires on the car. I was like, well, at least let's see if I can be close to it. And then at one point I felt, this is quite a good lap. And then eventually when I jumped out, they told me it was a lap record. But I think as a driver, you always try to go to the limit, even if it's like a demonstration run.
The demo team aren't always on a racetrack, and so the running areas have to be checked for hazards like potholes and manhole covers, while the cars have to be adapted to run at lower speeds.
Care of the car for different environments. There's not too much we can do. We can play around with ride heights for clearance on the ground. We have some fans on the radiators, as you would in a road car, to constantly blow air on the radiator so we can go at slower speeds. We have dry ice baskets to also go inside the radiators to also keep the engine cooler. The wings and stuff we generally leave the same. They're fairly robust cars, these. We've gotten to a point where we can do pretty much anything with them within reason. Personally for me, the Kitzbühel ski slope event last year was very challenging. To run the car on chains was the first time it had been done. We didn't know what to expect. It was steeper than what it looks like on the footage. It was a fairly challenging, frightening event for all involved.
Last November, Verstappen ran in Las Vegas, which hasn't seen a Grand Prix since the early 1980s. He was the headline event at one of the world's biggest motor shows, wowing the US fans in the dark.
It was a very cool night. I mean, I think I've never done a show run in the dark, but the floodlights were great. And I think it is always a bit better, you know, the spectacle like that. So I really enjoyed it. It's not a track, but at least I could do some donuts and spin the car around. And especially when I turned the engine off, I could hear them cheering. So that's great, I think.
The key to these show runs is to give everybody the thrill of motorsport's premier category anywhere in the world.
We spend a lot of years going to Grand Prix to the same place every year, where this gets us to completely different places, remote areas of the world that Formula One cars have never been. So to see people's faces when they see and hear a Formula One car for the first time is just great.
For me, I would say most satisfaction out of it is seeing the crowd's reaction. You know, when you start up the car, you can tell they're like very surprised how noisy and how awesome they sound. And then, you know, doing fun stuff like donuts or getting a bit of smoke, things we can't really always do on the racetrack. It's throwing a little bit of something different into our job, and people like that, so it's kind of fun.